At some point, Bebe Cool used to live there.
Bebe Cool.
Yo, Bebe Cool used to be part of this whole, even Chameleon. Like, they used to be part of this whole circle, right? So Bebe Cool, Chameleon, all those guys used to be part of this whole circle. So they were the Ugandans in this circle of ours. And then now they went back to their countries and they blew up there. But all because of Ogopa. Like, look, he really helped them, like...
Hello guys, welcome to the show. My name is Cheptoek Boyo and today we have the one and only Edu Gee. Ye ni mwanamuziki na pia ni mwanafilamu, si ndio?
Yes.
Ni filamu?
Filamu.
Kabla nianguke vizuri sana.
Mwanafilamu.
Yes. Karibu sana kwa show Edu Gee.
Asante sana.
Umepotea.
I'm around, yo.
Where have you been hiding?
You know, but I'm around. We just move in silence.
Okay.
But I'm around.
That's a good strategy, kabisa.
Yeah.
Now, I want to know, did you migrate from up country like the rest of us, ama wewe you grew up hivi in Nairobi?
Bone City, maze, Buru. East Lando. Yeah.
You are here. Which schools did you go to?
We went to start from nursery to...
Yes.
So nursery, there was a school called Wanja and Kim in Buru, and then moved to Lavington Primary, and then I had a stint in Kitale at Greenfield, and then now I came to Nairobi to Aga Khan Academy, the one on Limuru Road, and then joined USIU, and then I decided I was finished. Yeah.
You know, Kitale is my hometown.
What? For real?
Yes.
Okay, It's a beautiful space. It's a beautiful place.
It's a quiet town.
Greenery, nini, scenery. It's all right.
Yeah.
I love it.
First, even when you're driving from Nairobi and you reach, let's say, past Salga, now the beauty starts when you're going down. Yeah. Oh, wow. That is very interesting.
Yeah.
So I first knew you as a musician. How did you get in this music industry?
So I just loved music ever since I was ever since I was a child. Like, I used to listen to a lot of music. My mom used to sing a lot in the house. We used to have records in the house. So naturally, I just gravitated towards music. Solely, I used to listen to a lot of the hip-hop R&B for the 80s. So now we just used to sing along with them. And I just I love doing this. So I just started one day we're in this. In fact, we just said, okay, let's go. Let's see whether we can record music. And then we started recording jokes, you know. And then we realized, okay, we can do this. And maybe let's see what happens. That's why we're doing it let's see what happens. Because we had time on our hands, fresh out of high school, nothing to do. You know that period when there's nothing to do.
There's nothing. And Kitambo, guys, we used to stay almost a year before.
Exactly. So that period before there's nothing to do, you're like, hey, Busi, we tried this. By that time, we're living in South B. So we had a lot of access to there was a church in South B that had... the Catholic Church in South B used to allow young guys to come and create music. So we used to meet at the basement. Now the basement is where you met everyone. All those guys who blow up, Kina K Shaka, Kina Red Sun, Kina Wantu Moja, we used to all meet at even Rafton.
They were all guys of church.
Everyone.
And you didn't have to necessarily be from that church.
It was just like a space for the youth. In our church, just have spaces for youth, just come and just hang out and follow your passion, see what you can do here. Yeah, so it was one of those. And then I got into music. I think my first song I recorded was me, Rafton, and Masimaira.
What was the name of that song?
If you want to dance, it's up to you. It was a Rafton song, so it was featuring me and Masimaira. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and also I did a jam with Masi. I've done, it was fun. It was fun. We're doing it for fun.
How was it then, Masimaira and Rafton, in their younger days?
Rafton was actually a secular artist. Yeah, that song was secular. He was a secular artist. Then at some point he decided maybe gospel is the way to go. But his first song we did was a secular song.
That is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Masimaira?
Same. Masi now was doing a song. We're doing, it was now pretty much also a secular song. I can't remember how it used to go, but I remember she was on it, even with the brother Al, Reigning Revolution, I think. I can't, it's been a while. Yeah.
So while at this basement, how were you discovered that now you blew up to be this popular artist? The beat keeps on playing your music.
So the idea was there used to be one recording studio in South B. So what you do, and then they charge you per hour. It was like, I think 3-5 per hour. So what we'd do, we'd make the beats at the basement because the church didn't have a space for recording. So they had that drum machine. So we'd sync the beats on the drum machine and then take them on a DAT tape and take them to the studio now in South B. So you've practiced because you only have 1 hour.
So you're going there perfect.
You're going to kill it. 1 hour. Everyone has to be ready. Chap, 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 chap. 1 hour, you're done. This used to be the only studio. It used to be in South B. So something, Hills Media or something. It used to be called Hills Media. So everyone used to do that. And then at the same time is when now K-Shaka started blowing up. There was Sync Sound now here in South B with Kina Omar. And they set up a studio there with Ted Josiah and everyone. And that's when now the industry, you could see at that point is when it started opening up. Now the K-Shaka started blowing up, They opened a lot of doors, I think, for what's happening now. And I wish we had a museum to actually give these guys their flowers, like give them an honorary, because those guys are the ones, without them, the music industry wouldn't be where it is. But it seems like they're forgotten.
Yeah.
Right? We need a place where we can actually just acknowledge them and say these are the guys who actually
the pioneers.
Yes, Kinated Josiah, give them the flowers. These are the guys who actually made this thing work and to get where it is.
Yeah. Did you have any interactions with Issa?
Yeah, we grew up in South Sea together here. Yeah, in fact, there used to be rivalry between our camp and their camp.
What was the name of your camp?
So so South Sea was where the hub of now creativity was, right? So you could find all the MCs. So DJ Loop used to be in South Sea. He used to have a camp that was dissing Issa, dissing Ogopa pretty much, because these guys were now hip hop heads, right? Those guys were like hip hop damu. You guys are doing this kapuka nonsense, which you see. So now there was beef. There was just competition, right?
Yeah.
So Issa, I knew. We grew up with him, literally here in South Sea. So I knew all of them, Kina Issa. I've interacted with all of them, Kina Big Pain, the Longombas. We used to, same area too. Pretty much used to be. And then they used to go to Ogopa now in South B, right? His studio in South B, where at some point, Bebe Cool used to live there.
Bebe Cool.
Bebe Cool used to be part of this whole, even Chameleon. They used to be part of this whole circle, right? So Bebe Cool, Chameleon, all those guys used to be part of this whole circle. So they were the Ugandans in this circle of ours. And then now they went back to their countries and they blew up there. But all because of Ogopa. Look, he really helped them, get where they in terms of achieving their musical success.
Yeah. How has this complicated Kenyan music industry treated you when you look at your career as a whole?
Actually, for us, I can't complain. For me, it was more experimental. We were just young, dumb. So we were having fun. And then so at the same time I was doing music, I now transitioned into film. Because we had to shoot our own videos. Nobody was shooting videos in Kenya. So I'm like, no one is shooting videos. See, then we shoot our own videos. So that's when I picked up the camera. Yeah, and I was like, okay, this seems more fun than music. Yeah.
But the first cameras that you guys were using, it was just almost gray, your quality haikukua. Which was your first camera?
Mine was a high 8. It was a high 8 camera. So it was using a tape. So I know we're using DV cams also, we're using tapes. Because those days cameras used to come, it was because of the sensors. We're using 3 CCDs. So now it's digital, one sensor. And it's much clearer in terms of resolution. So then it was just CCDs. So the quality wasn't the best.
Yeah.
Right? So, but you work with what you have. And then it's never the tools, it's the farmer. So you can give me you can have the highest resolution camera, you give me a CCD camera and I'll still outshoot you. Right? Yeah.
Ebu, give me the evolution of your cameras, because right now a friend of mine was telling me, you want a black magic king called Edu Gee.
Yeah.
So give me the evolution of your cameras from CCDs to now black magic.
So we started with it was a Sony. So we started with the Sony cameras, the DV cams, and then now we moved to. Then we started shooting TV shows. That time HD had started coming out. HD was starting to become prevalent. Now we moved to now Panasonic, because now Panasonic now had the HVXs, so they were shooting HD. So we started shooting our TV shows using the Panasonic in HD, and then now from Panasonic we moved now to Canon, because now Canon, that's when the 5Ds had started coming out. They have this cinematic look and feel. Yes. So all of us, we shifted now to Canon cameras, the C100. We started shooting also TV shows now with C100s, like Tujuane we did pretty much on C100. We're shooting with the Canons. And then now, the reason why I shifted to Blackmagic is because I used the Blackmagic OG. It was the pocket cinema camera. The first one, it was OG. So it used to shoot camera raw internal. First and foremost, shooting raw internal. It's a small camera, raw internal 1080, and the raw is like on point, and then it is only $1,000. You're like, what? A camera shooting raw, $1,000. It's you're like, okay, let me try it out. So I started using it. I like the color science. I'm like, yo, this is interesting. Then I just started becoming a fan of Blackmagic. I started investing in more or less in their pipeline. Like I do their editing now. For sure, I do everything in terms of from shooting to post. I'm on their workflow, Blackmagic.
And I think it synchronizes well when you're using the camera, the software, and even the mixers, all that.
Yes, everything. And then I like their philosophy in terms of the owner, because for them, as much as their P&L, for them, they're looking to make a profit, but it was his main goal was to democratize filmmaking. Like, for example, DaVinci Resolve, that software used to cost like $10,000 because it's a Hollywood standard, right?
Yes.
So they actually bought it, and they were giving it for free. They added a few things, and they were giving it for free. You go like this.
Buy the camera, you get it.
Yeah, that thing used to be the gold standard for color grading in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So it just used to be for the select few. But this guy used to work, I think, in a camera production, camera account that makes cameras, and he realized these things are a bit overpriced.
Yeah.
So he decided to democratize the game. So I'm like, oh, that's a good philosophy. So we'll support them because they're trying to make it easier for filmmakers. Yeah.
You've just mentioned you're part of the team producing Tujuane.
Yeah.
Which was a very popular, scandalous show on telly.
Yeah.
Which role were you playing?
I was a production manager.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did they pitch it to you?
Who, Tujuane or?
Tujuane.
So you see, us guys, let me tell you that the advantage of when us guys were on the come up, right? We had access to TV stations and people who could produce TV shows, because there was at some point used to do a show called Rush Live on Nation. Right? It used to be a Saturday morning music mix. In fact, we're the first guys who were bringing music mix shows, right?
Yeah.
We used to go into Nation, and it just used to be us guys in there. Like our crew of over 15 guys, we are running like this. We used to be in the gallery. We used to be like, we're the ones who are running the show, literally doing the mixing and everything. So we had that access. So for Tujuane, it's like, it was from friends. Yo, you're doing this show. I want you to come and be the production manager. Yeah, sure, for sure. Because that's guys, it was one love. It wasn't even, we're never looking at the money. Like, it was so weird. We never looked at the money. Like, you're doing this show. Yeah, I want you to come be the PMO for sure. And you're inside. So it wasn't even a thing of yo, nadu show. Sawa, situfanye.
Are you available? Let's do this.
Yeah, let's do this. That's how it was. It was never about, hey, so unanikanja how much? Situfanye tuone mali itatupeleka.
Yeah.
And that's how it's always been our philosophy up until now.
Did you while producing it, did you ever see it going to be that big or that popular with the Kenyan audience?
You know, you can never tell. Some things just happen the way they happen. but you can never tell. Yeah, you know, like you can't say I have a formula for becoming popular. There's no, if someone tells you have a formula for becoming popular, they're lying.
They won't be popular. That's the saddest part.
Yeah, because some things just shika and some things just don't. Yeah, so there's no formula to life. There's no formula to it. So it just happened and it happened. And it was one of the first time for a show to go viral without even having the interwebs, right? Like how it is now. Yeah. It was one of the first, you know. So I think it was a milestone in what it did and what it achieved. So I think it was just like it happened. It's not like we had said this is how we'll do it. No. There was no strategy behind that.
And there was a sequel for this Tujuane.
Yeah.
Which ended up being on, I think, was it DSTV?
Yeah, when Maisha Magic had now it's
had launched.
Yeah, so
yeah. So were you still the guys producing?
Producing.
At least they retained you guys.
Yeah, so because it was our concept. It was our idea. So,
but you know, some other people, when you upgrade, you leave this crew.
No.
And you upgrade with totally new people.
No, us guys who were family first. Like that's the same philosophy we have now. Like the same people who we did that show with are the same people I continue to do business with up until now.
Wow.
So it's always been family first, and then we have at least our own value system. So there are things that we do that we know have to be within our value system.
Yeah.
So that's how it's always been. So hakuna ati wase wanaachana nyuma. No. Tubebane si wote ndio
tukigrow we are growing.
Si wote ndio si ati msi ana set up pay bill ati nisaidieni tumegrow pamoja. Yeah. So huwezi sema ati nisaidieni pay we tumegrow pamoja. So we don't leave anyone behind. That's our philosophy. Yeah.
What's the harsh lesson you have learned about being an artist in Kenya?
I can just say it's a lesson because what I've come to realize is that when you do art is very subjective first and foremost.
Yes.
So it's very subjective. It depends with now the person who's receiving it. Right? So it's subjective. It's not for everyone. That's one thing you have to learn. Not everyone will rock with what you're trying to do. So don't try to please everyone.
Yes.
First and foremost. Kenyans, what I've come to realize, I don't know if it's because it's a Kenyan thing, or I don't know if it's an African, maybe it's Kenyan. They don't really appreciate art that much. Yeah, if they don't pay for it.
Oh yeah.
They'd rather get it for free than pay for it, right? So they'd want it for free as opposed to paying for it. Because when us guys tell us, if you guys actually were in Hollywood, you guys would have been multi-billionaires by now. We're like, yeah. So that's one thing we've come to realize. I think I don't know if it's our culture. So it's something we're trying to at least crack to understand how come they're not willing to invest in or pay for local Kenyan content. Someone, King Kaka corrected me the other day. He said, don't call it local, call it Kenyan.
Yes.
Yeah, so Kenyan content. So that is the challenge that I think. That's the challenge that we face, or the lesson that I maybe might take away. Yeah, but otherwise, I think it's been interesting. It has been an interesting journey. Yeah.
Give me a list of productions that you have been part of in terms of TV production.
Okay, let's start with maybe we can start with Wakilisha. We can start with Rush Live. That was in the 2008. We can do Tujuane. We can do Coupled Show. We can do Moyo on Citizen. It was a drama. Maza on Maisha Magic East. Which other one? Am I forgetting this other one? There's a Disney project we did for kids, Team Sayari. Yeah, that was for Disney. There's then the 40 Sticks, that was for Fakib, which was aired on Netflix. Of later, I've done my film on air, which I've just released. So now that's where we can. But most of the other stuff has been more corporate documentaries and things like those for corporate clients that enable us to do our passion projects.
By the way, that is how people survive in this industry.
Yeah. So that's been more or less my chronology. Maybe my. So
producing Sayari for Disney, were you guys paid the Disney rate? Or were you paid the Kenyan rate?
So
as
now
part of the production team?
Yeah, so it was a mixture of both. Yeah, because me, unless I was the post-production manager. So me, I was handling now the post workflow, and then it was a show that was in 4 countries. So we had a Kenyan crew, a Nigerian crew, a South African crew, a Rwandan crew, and a TZ crew. Yeah.
Oh wow, that was massive.
And then we used to now deal with the office in Spain, South Africa, and the States. So now it was one of those. So it was an interesting endeavor. It was a bit of both. You have the Kenyan rate, but you also have it has a touch a bit. It tried the international rate. It tried, but more or less leaning towards the Kenyan rate. Yeah.
But at least you're paid.
Yeah, but the experience was good. Like you meet different people, see how their thought processes and everything. Yeah.
Talk to us about now your passion project, your own film, On Air. What is it about? Who is starring? Where can guys get to watch this film?
Yes, so On Air is based off a true story. Something that actually happened in Nairobi, I think in the 2000s, early 2010, 11, 8 there, whereby there was this guy who actually went for a robbery. They went for a crew to rob a M-Pesa shop. Something went wrong. They had to run for their lives, and one of them ended up in a house in Pioneer Estate where he took the residents of the house hostage, but they managed to run out. And then the cops came and they had a shootout the whole day with him. So it was just one gunman and he's fighting like a bunch of cops, and he managed to hold them off the whole day until Recce Squad came in. Recce Squad came in like around, I think, 5, and by 5:10 they were done. They had finished him. But the whole day
they had been holding.
Yes, the whole day is just one man. It was like shoot out with the cops. So they do the thing, and then now in between that, this guy was actually making phone calls to radio. He actually called Keto Radio at some point to negotiate.
Kwani alikuwa amewatch movies ngapi?
Like he made the phone call like it was live on here. So now what we did, we took that story and made it our own. So we created it around, like, let's say, okay, let's take it from the presenter's point of view. What was
the one who received that phone call?
What is he going through? How is he managing to negotiate with this guy? Because it's based off that. Because this other guy, when you hear him talk, because I have the real phone call when he called in Keto Radio, he was very calm, right? Like nothing is going on. But then when the real story is like, this guy is under siege. He's alone in a house, and the cops outside, they're shooting in him, he's shooting back. So now we dramatized it for film.
Yeah.
So now we took the story, flipped it, and made it more dramatic.
Yeah,
so it's based off a true story.
Add a little juice, a little salt.
Yeah. So it addresses a lot. The movie has a lot of themes in terms of, first and foremost, media ethics, social justice, and then also taking responsibilities for your actions, because there's no way you can commit a robbery and when you're 40 days afika, they're like, guys, forgive me. Because you've been doing all these things throughout. So and also
you did not surrender in the first place.
Exactly.
At least you'll go through the court system,
but no cops wouldn't have let him leave because there's that thing where the cops are involved usually. Normally, like they'll hire the guns to these kids. They share it's very So
you have to go down.
You have to go down. Like that's why none of them survived. All the rest were killed. So he was the last man standing. Yeah. So if they wanted them to be alive, they would have arrested them. But this one's on a mission.
They don't want to be liable in court for...
Exactly. Because these guys can open their mouth and then... It's a big issue. It's a big issue.
Yeah. So who is in this film?
So I decided to go with new faces. I have Matayo Randu. He's a very good actor, from Mombasa. I have Daniel Muturi, also upcoming, like already is doing his thing, and Wanjira Longhour. She's a radio presenter.
She's been doing a lot.
She's been doing acting. Yeah. But then those are the people, and Richard Ndege, he was now the one who's playing the robber on the phone, and then Police Commissioner Kalfan Shikeli. New names, new faces. Yeah, that's the idea.
You kept your cast tight.
Yeah, that's the
Was it idea. Budget issues, or was it just they needed to be 5.
The story needed them to be 5. Yeah, but then also we're trying to figure out a smart way of doing cinema, because we've realized our crew was we did that movie with 7 people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, our crew wasn't massive. Like, we didn't have CG hoof. No. Our crew was 7 and the cast was... So we're moving lean and mean. So we move much faster. We move much faster. Decisions are made much faster. You're agile. You move. You do things quicker. Yeah, so that was the reason in terms of also... So it was a bit of both budgeting and also just to see how else we can finesse this process.
Yeah.
To see that you don't need 100 people to be on your set.
But also you can churn out now really fast.
Exactly.
Also the production.
And also it moves. Because even you see when we weren't doing it, like we used to only shoot on weekends. Yeah, we used to shoot on weekends because we were filming at the old Capital FM offices. So they used to give us only weekends. So Saturday and Sunday. Lone House. But they've moved now. Now there are 2 Rivers. So we have the last footage, because after that it was demolished.
So you guys are the last remembrance of that studio.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Where can guys watch this film?
We have a platform. We are self-distributing currently. It's on www.suncity-radio.com. Yeah, you can put it when...
dash ni ile hyphen.
Ile kak. Evil. Yeah. So that's where guys can
go and watch it. How much?
It's only 300 bob. But if you're feeling philanthropic and unaweza cheza kaa wewe, it has options. You can decide, I'm just supporting local, because at the end of the day, when we do, and it's something that King Kaka told me, whatever we are doing, we are putting food on the table. Yeah. So if you support the film, it'll enable me to do another film where I can pay actors, I can pay crew, I can do everything. So it's actually just building that ecosystem. So whenever people support, it enables other people to eat.
Yeah.
So that is the whole idea, which I think is a very good philosophy. And I'm thinking that's something people should look at and say, okay, maybe I support.
E300 ni mobile view only. Can I screen share on my TV? Can I share the link? It's just one person?
One person.
One person.
Yeah, but you can watch it on your TV, you can watch it on your phone. Yeah.
Is there a limited number of watches?
So just one watch.
One watch.
Yeah. But what we are doing, at least we are if someone started watching and stopped and then they have an issue, they can always reach customer care and then they can reset their link for them and they can continue watching.
What if I start and watch, pause, I can come continue?
Yeah, so if there's an issue with that, that's when you can reach now and then we'll reset the link for you and then you can continue watching.
Okay. Yeah. So guys, support. And then I think I'll put also on this video bio.
Yeah.
Click the link, watch 300 too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Save a beer and watch the film.
And then put chakula kwa meza for all filmmakers and actors.
Yes, we need to grow, by the way, this film. Like self-financing and also making a profit at some point.
Exactly. So that's the whole idea. And it enabled us now to do another film so that isiishe hapo. Because watu wanasemanga, Kenyan, you mtuangi vitu, no consistency. But then first we need the support of the audience.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially when it's a Kenyan story.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What gaps do you see in the industry in terms of stories that we need to tell?
So I think there are a lot of stories that we can tell from Kenya or Africa as a whole, because we pretty much normally focus on one thing at a time and then we say that's what people want to watch. But you see, like everything now, if you turn on your TV now, what will you see? It's the same soap opera or same storyline, or it's something funny, something, there's no, in terms of content, not a variety. We pretty much stick to the same type of themes. So which is understandable because maybe the person who's commissioning says that's what their audience wants. So, and then that's what makes it dangerous for filmmakers, because you're under the mercy of the people who run these platforms. You can never be creative. You can never decide, let me do a sci-fi. Let me do a horror.
There was a horror which was banned by KFCB.
You see, so now, I don't know why people are afraid of. There are so many genres we can try and do. but then they won't get light of day. So I think the power needs to come back to the filmmakers. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever shelved a project because it was too bold for the Kenyan audience? Something you wanted to produce, and you're like, I don't think Kenyans are here.
What would you consider bold, for example?
As we've said earlier, maybe it's a very dark horror, like exorcism of something.
In fact, we're actually in the process of actually doing a horror. So yeah, so I'm not even going to we do it. Let's see. Yeah, there's no.
So there's no any topic that you will consider this one I cannot.
And I know. Nah, actually no. Yeah, because most what I focus on is not a lot of love or romantic or no. So for me, I won't be affected by those. Yeah, so I'd rather do thriller, dramas, horrors, action, right? Because that's where I know my strengths are at. I won't lie to you. I'll do a romantic series.
Why is romantic series not your thing?
See, because there are people who are good at that. So now you see, you guys are good at it, so do it. Yeah.
Which genre do you think is really you?
So drama, thrillers, action.
But when I saw 40 Sticks, it was really dark.
Yeah.
And that forest scenes.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking because you were part of the production for that.
Yeah.
That is truly.
Yeah. So we can't leave. This one is going to be a bit dark, but it also has a social message. And yeah, so the idea also is to just pass a message along. It's just not entertainment for the sake of, because art is very subjective, especially like even with on air, the amount of feedback that I get, everyone has picked up their own theme. And everyone keeps telling me, me what I saw is this. I'm like, me what I saw is that. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's good. Yeah.
Now, we've talked earlier about raising money for films, which is really tough. Are you still depending on, because I see most Kenyan film production depending on funding. What is your way? Like you pitch for a grant and then you get it and then you shoot your things. How are you financing your productions?
So it's a mixture of both. So you have actually, we actually pitch it to investors as a business proposal. So that's why we did even for on air. Pitch to investors, show them the return on investment, our route to market and everything. So that's always been our strategy. Like we pitch it like any other business. So we're trying to show that film is like any other business. Because there are Kenyans who have money, but then the first thing they'll do is invest in a matatu or a store for clothes. Or, Kenya is Control C, Control V. Umsa may do. Hey, may work for them. Control V, let me copy paste, right?
Yeah.
So we're trying to show them that film can also be an investment vehicle. It's not just some for see shoot to put up a camera and shoot. It can also be an investment vehicle. And that's what we're trying to show. So we have actually go both. So we pitch to investors, we self-finance, and then also looking for funding and grants. So we combine the whole spectrum, not just one. Yeah.
So for investors, do you have something like a split sheet for royalties in terms of if I'm investing my millions in your film, I should get a percentage for it, and is it a forever percentage as long as the film is showing whatever, whether it's syndicated or even in your own platform?
No, so pretty much we tell you it's just like any other business. So if you there's return on investment, we say there'll be 20% return on investment. You see, so if you give $1 million, there's going to be 20% return on investment after 1 year after the film has launched. Right? So things like those. So it's usually like that.
So once I reach my 20% of on top of my milli,
yeah, we give you back in your money, and sometimes you can say I want it to roll over to the next project. So it becomes now, okay, so you have another 1.2 mil, say I put it in the next project. So it becomes 1 point something.
Whatever.
Exactly. So
I can just say, give me the profit, roll over the milli to continue.
Yeah, so you see, that can also be another way. So it's just a way of, so that's how we're looking at it, like just like any other business. Yeah. Yeah, so, and it depends. If someone says they want royalties, it depends. You can negotiate for that. Yeah, if they say I want a percentage, but then that means they won't get it Yeah. Yeah. So if they say earn something in perpetuity, no, but you can't do that because if you own the IP, yeah, it's pretty much.
I don't want to own the IP. I want to own part of the IP.
So now it depends on how it depends on what you negotiate. You don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate, right?
Yes.
So if you come in there and negotiate, why am I giving the secrets?
No, give other filmmakers.
So if you want someone actually, so like most of them are more interested in the percentage, but then they have to also be able, if they want the IP, then they have to bear more risk. So you have to be like, I really want, bear more risk as opposed to just this little amount, bear more risk. Then you can say, I want some of the IP then because I want to own it for my kids or something like that. So the idea is we give them at least, even it's better than the treasury bonds, because there you get, I think it's 16 or 17%, 20% return on investment.
20% is good.
20% is.
Shida tu ni isiponunuliwa.
Sasa na hapo unaanza fanya but you know, it's like any other business, right? Because
yes,
there's a risk. Even in the stock exchange, there's a risk. Even when you're doing crypto trade, there's a risk. Even if you're doing your own salon or your matatu, there's a risk. You might not make that money back. And you might be in the red for four years before you become in the black, right? So it's a risk. So it's just like any other business. You tell them there's a potential that you might lose your investment.
And is that written in a clause?
Yeah, it's actually
like yes, you're investing, but ikianguka,
actually at the bottom of at the end of the presentation, there's that thing that says, filmmaking is just like any other business venture.
Yes.
You're not going to be guaranteed a return on your investment.
Hey.
So why filmmakers put on such a high, like, but any other business you go in, you're like, even here I can lose all this money, but I'm still going all in, right? So I think we should also start looking at it as a biashara, just like any other investment.
Yeah.
It's not just something, it's just like any other business. Yeah.
Now, comparing career in music and now in film, what is your opinion of both currently in Kenya?
I think we're in the right trajectory in terms of, especially, I can comment on film music. I'm not so versed because I've not been in it for a while, but I still follow what they do. I think we're in the right trajectory. I think it's just that thing of now getting Kenyans to appreciate our content more and actually supporting more, as opposed to always saying you guys do bad stories, your production quality is bad. You ask guys, what would you like us to do then in terms to improve ourselves? So once we improve, will you guys support? But then you realize they don't. They just talk.
They just talk. They're looking for a reason.
Yeah. So I think that I don't know if that has answered your question.
Yes.
Okay. Piracy
is a very big thing currently in the country. How are you protecting your work?
Currently, there's nothing we just have to go with what is there and hope that people, or you see like how the TZ model is.
Yeah.
Literally, they work with the pirates. Yeah, that's how they get their stuff out there. So they'll say, okay, sir, you want to pirate my stuff? Yeah. I'm the one who's giving you the master. You go do the copies. You make your money, get me mine. So they're using the pirates as a distribution arm. Yeah.
So are they limited to a certain number of, if this is a movie and I say pirate it 100 times and this is my figure, what if the person who's buying the pirate goes and pirates it? You cannot monitor that.
Exactly. So you have to depend on trust again. It's just a thing of trust. So you say, okay, sir, you be here. Go, I've given you here. Go make copies and you distribute for me. Yeah. So they're using these pirates as a distribution. And in Kenya, I haven't seen that. I don't know how they pirate nowadays. I haven't seen even, because there are no physical copies, right?
Yeah. Nowadays, no.
Yeah, so I don't know how they pirate now.
But I think for international films, it's still there.
It's still there. Yes.
Not necessarily in Nairobi, but local towns, people still doing DVDs.
Yeah, so maybe the digital, maybe that thing of ripping from the internet and just putting on a drive, maybe that will be the challenge. But then again, it reached up. There's this movie called Shutters. It's a Jamaican film. I think even Bob Marley's kids are in it. It's the most pirated movie, I think, ever. but then it made it popular. So they built their audience. So if these guys ever try to do something again, they're like, yo, that movie was fire.
Yeah.
So you can look at it both ways. It's a double-edged sword. As a creative, depends on what you're trying to do. Yeah, but I think you can be smart and go like, okay, so since you guys already have the distribution on lock, we need to partner. Yeah.
At one point, would you want to put it like on platforms, public platforms like YouTube?
I don't even want you to put it on YouTube because
I'm seeing a lot of West African productions. You find, I saw this on YouTube or I saw it on Netflix and now it's on YouTube. It's like now a different cycle they're doing. So maybe it will start by cinema and then it will go to, what's it called? Streamers. And then after that, now you'll see it publicly on YouTube, but they're still earning a little money. But for them, they have the numbers. So you can guarantee the earnings.
Yeah. Because the AdSense for Nigeria, I think, is different from the AdSense from Kenya. Yeah.
I thought we were in the same boat.
I don't think so. I think Nigeria is a bit different. Yeah, I was being told it's a bit different. Because I thought also Africa is the same because the AdSense doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because I thought Europe and Western countries, it's a bit more. But when you go to Africa, it's same level.
I think Nigeria, because of the numbers, like you say. And then Nigeria have a lot of, their corporates really support their content, like filmmakers.
Yeah.
You'll find a bank is funding a film. You'll find, telco is funding a film. Just even a tycoon is funding a film. But in Kenya, sadly, not many of them see the value in it.
Yeah.
They don't want to, or rather they don't understand it. So they rather not put money in it.
Yeah.
But it was something interesting that we had. I think there was like a workshop for filmmakers from South Africa, Nigeria, and Kenya. And how they operate in those countries. You realize in Kenya, I think the government, as much as people say Gava can't help, I think it purposefully needs to step in to assist filmmaking in Kenya.
In what way do you want the government to step in?
You see, like Nigeria, for example, the Gava actually enforced that rule of, I think, 60% of Nigerian content on TV, right? And then they actively went out to look for that content.
Yeah.
Now, and it was enforced by the government, right? It was enforced. In Kenya, I think they tried it, and then now the media houses started shooting their own content. So now these guys are trained in filming.
They're saying the producers are expensive. There was even the war of they did not meet the quota. Yes, we were willing, but nah.
Them they'd rather keep you on a salary. I'll pay this guy this same 60 Gs and he's going to shoot news, he's going to shoot for me this series, he's going to shoot for me all these things.
Which is sad because creatives who, I know news producers and videographers are good, but it's journalistic way is totally different from artistic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why, so for them, they say, you see, we have the threshold, then they do start doing local. For them, local shows means a magazine show. So for them, they think now, okay, we are doing 60%, but then you're forgetting that there's these other people outside because now they don't know what that does to the economy because it has a trickle-down effect because if I'm paying more people, it means they're spending more money. It means they're collecting more taxes. So it has that trickle-down effect. But then there they saw it. In Nigeria, they did it and they actively, intentionally pushed for it. Yeah. And that's why they are where they are right now. But believe you me, they started exactly where we are. But then because of the government actively and intentionally pushing them, they are where they are right now. That's why Netflix will agree to go give them budgets for their content because these guys have understood.
Yeah.
They've understood their market. They know what they need to do. And then the people support.
Even I think I saw a lot of Nigerian productions on Amazon Prime.
Yes, because again, they know how to get it there because they intentionally, even their music. It's not that by chance you're listening to it. This is all strategic, right?
Yeah.
Even the South Korean content that we are consuming, it's not by chance, it's very strategic, So I think so in Kenya, maybe they haven't understood how to do it. I don't know, because I think we have brilliant minds in those positions, but something happens. I don't know what happens.
Yeah.
So I think if the intentionally pushes this content, I think it can raise all boats. Because as it's standing now, no.
For your film, the self-produced film, why didn't you not go for the cinema route and decided to go for still cinema, but now digital?
So we actually went cinema. We did a cinema run, and thankfully to Century Max, they actually came through a lot in assisting, and in fact they assisted a lot in terms of trying to understand us and trying to put our content out there. Even some days we were doing better than international movies. But the challenge that we faced, again, our pain point is the marketing, right? Because now that's where we need to improve on as filmmakers. And I think that would be great if we can improve on the marketing, which they also shared with us. They told us, guys, the only way we can get us on the seats is if we market this thing. So now that's now our next challenge as now filmmakers, and let's see whether they'll show up, because people actually want to watch our films. Sometimes they just say where, then you tell them where, they're like, okay, I'll come, but then they don't show up. So it's that thing again.
Looking at the Kenyan market, do you think we can compete globally? And if so, where are we?
Yes, I do think we can compete globally, because we have a lot of stories to tell. There are very amazing storytellers in Kenya, right? There are very many amazing movies in people's hard drives. So you see, so they've done the film, and then it's Fika's time for distribution and marketing. You're told Kenya is not ready for this, or we are currently, our audience doesn't want this, or and then you don't know how to get it to the Netflixes or the Amazons, or so you pretty much just end up with your content on your hard drive, and then you become disillusioned, after a while you're like, is this thing worth it, But if there was an outlet, actually a genuine outlet, I think so we can compete. We are able to compete because we have the technical skills. We have the technical skills. We have some of the best crews. We have some of the best storytellers. It's just now that thing of, okay, guys, here is the platform. This is what we need to do. Currently, I don't know where we sit in the world. I'm not too sure. I don't have the stats on that.
You could arrange for me Hollywood, Bollywood, Nollywood, essay, and I think we used to be called Riverwood, and then all of a sudden we might not be even Riverwood.
Because I think the biggest, I think there's South Korea, China.
There's
Hollywood, also, South Korea and China, I think, because that's where the numbers are. Hollywood and Bollywood and Nollywood, but them, it's been established for over 100 years.
Korean dramas have really taken over.
But that's intentional, right? Like the government actually. So what happened in South Korea, I think maybe you can take a leaf from. South Korea realized that they don't have a strong army, they don't have a strong economy, or rather they're just coming up now because we have now the Samsungs and everything. But they realized that film is actually soft power. We can colonize guys with our content.
You're making it sound so bad.
But actually they did it. There's actually a white paper they wrote and said that this is a strategy for how we are going to use film as soft power, because we do not have a strong army. We can't fight, but then we know how to. We can colonize your minds using soft power.
With cute boys and cute girls on screen.
There you go. So there's power of that. So I think in Kenya, if we see film as soft power, I think maybe they can now wake up and realize, actually we can use this to position ourselves globally, right?
Actually we can use that the way the US did and made us think it is the best, the heaven of the world.
Exactly.
Now we can make it the heaven of Africa. It's Kenya.
Exactly. So you see, and then we have the technical know-how, we have the stories. So what's stopping us? I think it's something that we can do, and I think would be now start to people pay attention.
Now, away from music and film, we hardly see you. Yani wewe nilikutafuta social media, zero footprint. And also, I'm curious to know, do you have a family? Are you married?
Na ulinitafuta lini social media?
Nimekustalk this week,
At the real Edu Gee. At the real Edu. Ulikuwa kitafuta nani?
Edu Gee.
Ai, at the real maze.
Nikapata
ulipata Edu Gee
something
wangapi?
G. Kuna G wengi.
Si ndio unasema ndio kwa maana at the real. So at the real one yani.
But there, and follow him at the real Edu Gee. Utapata hapo link his film.
And what's coming next?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 So family,
social media,
children.
Family, no children. That I know of. No children. No children. When you say family, what do you mean? Like,
are you married or not? Would you want to have children? Are you pro-single?
What is pro-single?
Like, pro-single is men who have decided to be bachelor forever intentionally.
Do you know any men like that in Kenya?
Yes.
They've just decided they're going to be intentional.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. I'd like to meet these guys just to have a conversation.
Some of them are my friends, so I'll mention them off
camera. Okay, that's interesting.
Podcast. Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
No family. Okay, when you say no family, not at marital. No family, but family, yes, in terms of mom, father, brother, siblings, and everything. Yes, that is there. Yeah.
So bachelorhood is not intentional.
So when you say what does bachelorhood mean though? Like,
living as a single man, alone in your house and not wanting anyone as a partner.
So when you say alone,
whether it's same-sex partnership or heterosexual partnership.
Okay. So when you say just living alone.
Yes.
So if you are
a single person.
This one make me sound like
born from the stomach alone and
no human being is an island.
Yes.
Yeah.
But in terms of partnership,
I think you need that. You do need that as even as a human being, because we are built for connection, right?
Yeah.
So it's ideal when you have the correct person, right? Someone who's good to you and good for you. So you decide for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
I didn't see that coming.
So like Monday.
I didn't see that coming.
Tuesday. And then on the 7th day you rest. Yeah. Edu,
umewini hii conversation. Yeah.
So you have a connection for every day of the week.
Okay. I like your strategy. Anyway, what is in the future for you?
Man, you can't tell. You can't tell what's going to happen in the future. Yeah, for me currently, you can say the present.
Or what is in the plan for you?
The present, what I'm doing pretty much is just filming. Still filming. I won't stop. That's something. The advantage of doing film, the older you get, the more opportunities come your way. That's weird. Yeah. Because we look at all the biggest filmmakers right now. Who are they?
They're
even the oldest. They're like all of them are like now. So the older you get, because when people trust you more.
Yeah.
Because they're like, hey, okay, this one has done so many projects, we can trust him with this budget, right? See, you give a young and 50 mic, the first thing they do, hey, what's them go happy?
Yeah.
So at least they know, okay, you've handled big budgets, you know how to coordinate. So, and that comes with experience and also time. So
yes.
It means the older you get, the more opportunities, and people start trusting you more with the big budgets and allowing you to do more to allow you to do more things. Yeah.
Simply you're tried and tested.
Exactly. Those are the words.
Thank you so much for coming to this podcast. Yeah. Until next time.
Until the next episode.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
And he's my neighbor.
Imagine, we're just neighbors.
Kabisa. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe. I will see you guys on the next one. Kwaheri.